Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's one more day before we're on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it popping. I am not apprehensive about being on the road, but I'm going to do it anyway because I love you. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Many of you today were probably surprised at the breaking news for Thursday. Who thought that this would be the thing that we would discuss today? But don't think that that's going to inundate the entire show. We'll talk about this NBA thing. We'll get into it. It is a huge story for a lot of reasons. And I take this story kind of personally because, well, I'll get to that. I'll tell you why this one really, really means a lot to me. And it may mean a lot to you. And I'm going to take your phone calls on it as well. And I've got to work out this computer with my phone calls, but I'll figure it out in a second. The story is bizarre for a lot of reasons. But I will tell you this. There's going to be a Hollywood film. Okay? Can we at least admit that? Like, come on, applause? Come on, can we get that? There we go. Can we at least admit that this is going to be a Hollywood film? Can we? Just because, and it has nothing to do with the mob ties. It has nothing to do with the NBA players who were implicated in this. No. This is a technology story. This story is all about technology. And when you have movies like Ocean's 11, 12, 13, 14, 97, whatever, when you have films like that have been successful, that show you the inner workings of the scam, I'm a big guy on that. I'm a fan of watching the layout. When there's a movie that's got a scheme, what was one of the films that had a sort of breakdown of a scheme? I know there's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels that kind of does that layout in the film. Another one was Guy Ritchie does that all the time. What was the one with Brad Pitt with the inexplicable accent? Snatched. That was it. That was the name of that one. I love those movies that break down the intricate details of the scam. Those are fun to watch, and I'm sure they're difficult to film and to edit, but they're great to watch.
Like all Ocean 11 and 12.
You like all of them, right? But that's what they do in the film, right? They sort of like somebody like George Clooney will do the narration of how the scheme is going to lay out. And that's what's going to make this movie incredible to watch. And it's got the great elements of the mob, the NBA. It's got everyone who you get to sort of like either root for or despise all at the same time. You have the anti-hero level and all that other stuff. What you got, Roland? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, what did the mob have on these guys? Or were they willing participants to work with the mob, or
that's the interesting
part? Were they
part.
Forced? Because you see a guy like Chauncy Billups, who's just been nothing but the greatest professional,
absolutely,
ever, without a hint of anything negative on his resume. So for him to be caught up with the mob it's a little bit crazy.
And that's the wild part. You know what? You nailed it. Knowing that Chauncy Billups was associated with this, weirdly enough, I watched that Detroit Pistons season.
Yeah.
Because of how great that team was. Watching Chauncy Billups literally annihilate in that series. And I knew he was going to be, wasn't he the MVP? I feel like he was the MVP of that league. of that finals. And I could be wrong.
I don't think he was. I think it was either Ripper or Tayshaun Prince. One of them.
Okay, it's quite possible. But I know that he was a key player in all of that, and he was the leader, and he at least played a leader in that series. And I thought he was fantastic, and they deserved it. And it was one of those Detroit where it's like, yes, Detroit, you're rooting for them, and everybody on that team you're rooting for. So all of that happens.
No, you're right, Chauncy Billups.
He was. Okay, I figured he was. So I remember him being so, enigmatic in his performance there. He made a name for himself. And, of course, as he becomes a coach, it's evident that this guy deserved that role. And as you just said, Roland, he was not squeaky clean. He was just the consummate professional in basketball, an unsung professional hero to the game.
Yep.
So to see him involved in this really was like there's a sort of an unbelievability about it. Just going, really? Chauncey?
That's why I'm asking if he was forced or did they have something on him or like, hey, you got to do this otherwise X, Y, and Z.
Now, I'll tell you where it gets a little more complicated in a second about your exact point. And Chauncey's got a problem here. And we'll get to that. In fact, I know a lot of people are going to call and talk about this to some degree. Look, I got to tell you right now, right off the bat, folks, this story is making me hate sports right now. I don't know about you. I'm just speaking for me. I don't want you to hate sports right now. But I'm not liking sports right now. The NBA was already on a downward trajectory when it started involving itself or injecting itself into politics and social issues, thinking that it was important that they do. Everybody wanted to sort of glom on to what Colin Kaepernick was doing in the NFL and the NBA. They just threw themselves in it. It was like full-throated, jump out the window. We're activists now. And it really, really looked bad. And then it looked horrible, really horrible, when the first scandal broke. When, the Houston Rockets, I think manager or owner, whatever it was, who said that he was condemning what was happening to the Uyghurs in China. And then LeBron James coming out and condemning him for saying something about it. And why? Because the NBA had a considerable deal with China to expand the NBA into China. And then Sports Illustrated does an undercover investigation that realizes that under the NBA's watch that there were kids in China being abused under the NBA umbrella. So, by the way, if I remember correctly, they didn't really address. They were never really held to any account. And these things were tarnishing and really ruining the NBA's reputation. It was. Adam Silver's tenure has not been that good. And Daniel Stern was not that great either, but he was far better than Adam Silver. What were you saying?
David Stein.
Oh, David Stein. Why did I say? David Stein was far better. And what I'm saying is, because Adam Silver has not been, let's just say, strong enough as a commissioner in the NBA, we are where we are. Now, many people are going to start bringing up, the sports betting apps, which, by the way, Roland, I'm going to get you in on this, on that conversation later on. But I don't think that this has anything to do with what this case is about. I'm not giving them cover. And I'm not even, again, this is not, I'm being completely non-part or unbiased here in my analysis of all of this. All I'm saying is that those things are being used by these players and these individuals in order to sort of act on this chicanery, if you will. That's not why, and I don't think DraftKings or FanDuel or any of that are playing part in what I believe is the reputation of the NBA or any sports league for that matter, losing interest or people being sort of, disinterested or sort of walking away. I don't think that plays any role. But here's the part that we have to ask ourselves. Is this worse than the Major League Baseball steroids era? Is this scandal worse, and is the scandal far-reaching? Because I got to be honest with you. In a 2 to 3 year investigation, only finding about 3 NBA, well, it's now 4, 3 former or current NBA players and or coaches in this sting, and whether or not there are more to come, and whether or not we're going to learn that there were other players that may have been involved, because we do know that many of them gamble. We know they're very public about it. They post it on Instagram and anywhere else about their gambling habits, their winnings, their losses. They've often bragged about how much money they put on certain sports. This was bound to happen, and I think it could be far-reaching. And their actions could sort of cast a wide net on the sport itself. But is it as bad as the steroid scandal in Major League Baseball? To be honest with you, I think that the two are neck and neck. I think the Major League Baseball thing is a little bit higher, just slightly higher, because I think that was a selfish scandal as far as the players were concerned. I'll get into that in large details. Today, though, on this story, I want to hear from the gamblers. I want to hear from the gamblers. And if you wish to opine, I also want to hear from the people who hate the gambling aspect because they think that now their games are rigged. So I know they're both sides to this coin, because I've talked to plenty of people. One of my good friends out in the West Coast, Ali, every game, he loves basketball. He loves the NBA. In fact, I got to reach out to him. I'm hoping that he is around. In fact, John Beckman, if you can reach out to Ali, I want him in the chat room. I've been known Ali now for, I want to say, a good 8-9 years. And every season, he is screaming about how the NBA is rigged, how the NFL is rigged. But he still watches every year. Huge fan of the sport. He goes on and on and on about this. And I know that you're out there, that many of you, once gambling played a huge role, a lot of you have said, I can't trust the game anymore. That was fixed. You're noticing the referees making calls that you know are inexplicable. How did he do that? How many times have you heard that about the Kansas City Chiefs? It's an ongoing theme. I think I'm trying to remember what was one of the memes that said that I think it was something about draft day or something like that, talking about how a particular referee had been drafted in the 3rd round in Kansas City. It was actually a pretty good meme. I wish I could remember it. But they're really funny. But the gambling aspect has created this atmosphere where people no longer believe that the game is running in a respectable and honest way. This story doesn't help that narrative. It only gives fuel to people who are already sort of angered by the way the game is going lately. So I want to hear from all of those people. I'll take your phone calls about that. Also, something interesting Stephen A. Smith did today, which I thought was odd. We'll play the audio soundbite of that as well, plus some other stuff. And we'll break down this whole scandal. Who's involved? I've got to get to the gambling thing, the poker game scandal. That's huge. Because I don't know if anyone's talked about this, but I heard one person mention it, and I think it was Clay Travis, who said, I wonder who were the people who lost millions of dollars. It was reported during the press conference today in Brooklyn that one of the people who lost money lost a whopping $1.8 million in a poker game. Hell. And you can't help but ask yourself, who was that big fish? By the way, that's the reference of those individuals who were scammed. The Chauncy Billups part of that is, and think about this, to lure in the fish, the bait is Chauncy Billups. Hey, want to play a poker game with Chauncy Billups? He's going to be there in the game. And according to the arrest, Chauncy Billups is in on the whole thing along with the mob families. Now think about that with this. And I was talking to Mark in West Hartford, and when I heard it, I said to myself, that's pretty funny. This is really, really funny, but it's true. For years and years and years, I don't ever remember the Italian Cosa Nostra, the mafia, whatever it is that they have been called. I don't remember them ever being in cahoots with the blacks. So a lot of people right now in my inner circle are all shaking their head a little bit, saying to themselves, I wonder how they got Chauncy Billups involved in all of this. How exactly could they have gotten together and used Chauncy Billups or anybody in the NBA for that matter as a lure? It shows to me that there's a progressivism even in the mob that we didn't know before. And I don't know whether or not to be excited about it or concerned. The technology angle, that's another one that you have to think about. Who did they incorporate to do that? That technology angle is absolutely, we're talking about mind-blowing. What was used in chandeliers, in card shuffling machines, tables with cameras underneath that you can see the cards of the players. There's a lot of craziness in that. So I don't know exactly what to make of all of that, but we'll break it down. How many minutes do I have? Okay, about 2. So I want to break that down. I want to play what Stephen A. Smith said and what people are saying about Stephen A. Smith's comments about what happened in this investigation. Because I thought it was odd that he would, I'll preface it by saying this. If he is a reporter and a political commentator, how he could watch that press conference and blame it on Donald Trump blows my mind. But I'll play it for you so that you can hear it. Another question to ask on this is, who's next and who else is the FBI looking into? Stephen A. Smith says, hey, the WNBA could be next. Let me start by saying, oh, hell no, nobody's gambling on that. It's the easiest place to gamble. The WNBA always vote the under. Just always bet the under. Everybody should be a billionaire at this point. Vote, just do the under. That's how you do it. Yeah, Lori says he bent the knee to Crockett, too. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, it's astonishing. Anyway, by the way, if you didn't know, programming note, this is the last online version of the show. Of course, we'll be on WTIC.com. If you are online and you can listen to the regular radio as well, we'll be there. But the reason why is we'll be packing everything up so we can get on the road after Friday's show and start our descent. I'm kidding. Start our trip and our arrival into Connecticut. So that's happening very soon. All right, let's take a break. More news, more views. We'll get the phone calls up. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. If you wish to opine about this, we got a whole bunch of other stuff to get into as well on this Thursday edition of Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
Hey, y'all, we are back. Reese on the radio. And look, this gambling issue with the over-under a player actually letting people know, hey, I'm only going to play about 9 minutes in the game, and then I'm going to fake an injury, if you will, and then be out of the game. And to collect $200,000 when you know the guy's making well over like $25 million a year. Some people have been looking at that and saying that it's inexplicable. You know, I don't understand it. In his entire career, he made over $100 million. I don't get why he would just squander just for a $200,000 payday. They don't get it. They don't get it. And if I may, I'm gonna go where I normally wouldn't under these circumstances. So because I don't gamble and I couldn't possibly understand it, and I talk about it a lot, I'm going to talk to somebody who does understand. And that's none other than our Emmy Award-winning producer, Roland Matthews. Now, Roland, join me on the mic if you will. And I'm going to come up with a bunch of theories.
All right.
So that you can explain to me if I'm over the mark on this.
Okay.
As I just described with this NBA player, what's his name? Lozier or whatever his name? I don't know.
Terry Rozier.
Rozier, yes. This guy makes tens of millions of dollars, has made $100 million or plus in his career, and he bets and wins $200,000 gambling. Now, when I look at that, instead of going through the obvious motions, doesn't he have enough money? I'm asking this question. $200,000, although you may see as measly, but if you're gambling, isn't that the thrill itself? It doesn't matter what the amount is. It doesn't matter whether or not he has $26 million. He won $200,000 in sort of playing the gambling game. And that's where the thrill is. Am I getting that right?
Well, it's three things.
Okay.
Number one is the thrill.
Right.
Number two, you're still you're rich, but you're still putting in a low sum of money to get a higher sum of money.
Right. That's right.
So you're still making money.
Okay.
And number three, a lot of these guys do it for their entourage and their people that's not making $1 million.
That's right. So in essence,
that $200,000, if he give 10 of his boys $20,000 apiece, that goes a long way. Right. Or it could be 5 of his maybe his immediate circle is only four guys, so they each get $50,000 apiece. That means something to them. Okay.
Now, what about this angle? Because in essence, he is cheating, right? So he's letting people know, I'm going to get out 9 minutes in.
Yeah.
Bet the under. They get a quick score of $200,000. They do all the things that you're talking about in some way, because I would look at it as it was like, now if I'm gambling, like if I played the lotto or if I was playing the slots, I would play the chances. And if I win, hey, I beat the house. But in this case, isn't there a degree of there's a degree of sort of like I beat the house because I was able to manipulate the system. Is there a thrill in that, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. There's a thrill in beating the house. I say anytime I hit a parlay, I say all the time, I beat the cheaters, I beat the riggers. See, because I'm trying to, I know a lot of games is rigged. That don't mean every game is rigged, but I know some of the bigger games are, are point shaved or, he missed the extra point. He hasn't missed the extra point in 5 years, but all of a sudden for this particular game, he misses the extra point. Now the game goes in overtime. The spread is 6.5, and in overtime you can only get before this year. In overtime you can only get the most with 6 points. So automatically that they're not going to cover.
Right. So there
different things like that happens. You could kind of tell. So I try to bet with what I think they want the rig to be. That's how I try to.
So you mean to tell me that people who are playing the game or gambling legitimately are now gambling under the auspice of there's some cheating going on. So now you've got to maneuver both things. You got to maneuver the game as well as the cheating part.
Yeah, so you make your what you feel your bets are that are going to win, your strong bets, you make those, but then you say, okay, just in case the rig happens, if I put $50 on this bet that I think is going to win. Just in case the rig happens, I'm gonna put 15 or 20 on
the rig.
On the rig.
Oh.
And then you keep it one. So they're, in essence, they're making even more money because people are thinking outside the box. So, and which requires them to spend a couple extra dollars. And if I spend an extra 15, and there's 100 million people gambling, spending an extra 15 that they wouldn't normally spend based on a rig, then, now they're making a.
But let me ask you this, because you being sort of a part of this sort of ecosystem, does that having to bet the extra rig, is that harmful to your betting, or does it just means you just have to, you're adjusting to what you know is happening?
Yeah, no. It's taxing, because sometimes I'll be like, well, I'm not betting tonight because I don't feel like taking my bets. And if you're betting on a budget,
right,
then
of course,
you're really not taking those chances. So I just won't bet. I'm an all or nothing guy. So I noticed I've been like that my entire life. So if even when I was poor, I was bougie poor, so I would just wear the holy shoes. If I couldn't get the exact Nikes that I wanted, then I'm gonna just wear my shoes with the holes in it until I can somehow work enough paper routes or cut enough grass so I can get the shoes I really want. I don't want to settle for the shoes that my mom wants to buy me. I'll just wear my holy shoes and get teased until I can get the new shoes.
Gotcha. All right. So, but so in essence, so you're saying that this, knowing that there's rigging going on, people may be a little hesitant to actually bet on certain games. It's not that they won't bet; it's because of their concern that they'll actually reserve certain bets for certain games. Just because it's like, hey, I don't have that money. Normally they would be willy-nilly, but in this case, because they understand that the rig may be going on, they're a little reticent to put that bid in.
Yeah, but some people are just, they calculate that in their budget. Like, okay, it's the rig, so I know I'm giving an extra $75 today for all the rigs. I'm doing 5 bets, so I'm gonna do whatever, $20, $15 extra. Extra 75 for the day.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. All right. Thank you. And I appreciate that you being so forthcoming about that. Because, again, I don't understand the whole gambling thing. It's never going to be my deal. The reason why I drank and I didn't gamble is because at least with drinking, you got something in front of it. Like, if I lose money, I was like, I didn't get, people say it was like, well, you get the thrill. I'm like,
the thing about it is this, you get so close a lot.
Yeah.
You get really like, I probably 1,000 times I was 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 4. And now they offer you a little cash out to try to get you to take some upfront money.
Right.
So they'll be like, okay, your $20 bet was supposed to make you $500.
Right.
You're 4 out of 5, and it's the third quarter. So he still got like a lot of time left where that can happen. Let me offer him $89 and see if he'll take that up front, or will he let it ride to try to get to 500?
Wow.
So it's a whole nother, and now you got some people that's playing towards just a cash out. Like I noticed people will make a absurd big bet hoping that enough legs happen so that they offer the cash out and they're going to immediately accept the cash out, because the chances of you hitting that humongous bet is very, very small.
Wow.
So I'm just playing for cash outs. I have a couple homeboys that just play for cash outs.
Huh. Those things, like I said, I'm understanding it a little bit, but a lot of it is very, very complicated. Which is also
it's a lot, man.
I understand there's a lot. Trust me. I looked at one of those betting things. Like I looked at a fantasy football thing, and I just went, I don't know how to do this. I tapped out like within the first game. I was like, nah, we're done. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
So the thing that, again, I'm trying to figure out in all of this is, what does it do to the average fan that doesn't bet? I believe that there are a lot of people, as it did with baseball, when the steroids scandal happened, people kind of bolted from the league, Major League Baseball. I think they just bolted. I was one of the people who could not stick around for the games as much as I want to. I like baseball. I kind of feel like it's in my blood since I was a kid. But I know that I don't watch it as much as I used to because of the way that I responded to that Senate hearing with all of the baseball players, that were standing there defiantly saying that they didn't take steroids while they were sitting there with, 6-inch increases in their skull. It's like, who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? Mark McGuire sitting up there talking about, I don't want to talk about the past. Instead of just admitting and owning up, you don't even play the game anymore. You couldn't just admit, yes, I took performance-enhancing drugs. You couldn't admit it. Who was the guy from the Baltimore Orioles that waving his finger? I'll never forget that. And then going back to the league and then being tested for performance-enhancing drugs. Of course. People were like, knowing that millions, hundreds of millions of dollars are at stake. That's the reason why people walked away. And in this case, everybody now kind of has a target on their back as far as the league is concerned, because now they're like, who else is doing it? Because that's the scary part. I want to take a break. I'll come back. I'm going to play Stephen A. Smith's audio as well, and then we'll take your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Let me see if I can go here. Wall Street Joe's on the line. What's up, sir?
Yeah, a few things. I called immediately when you said you never gamble. You still owe me that silver dime from 3 weeks ago.
That was the only gambling I ever did. That's I keep it really.
You said the government was going to be resolved over the weekend.
I really did. Waiting. I really did believe that. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but you're right. You called me out. I absolutely. I owe you that.
And then you can ask Frank and Woodbridge. People bet on your show every day on the over and under.
What's the over and under on Reese on the radio? I'm dying to know what that is.
How many phone calls you take in 4 hours? It's usually 15 to 20. And then it explains why you may only take one phone call in the last hour because you bet the under, so you can't go over.
So you're saying I'm betting on myself. I'm not.
Absolutely.
I'm not.
Like everyone else. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
I'm not that bad. I promise you I'm not that bad. But I appreciate
How do you explain the Giants giving up 33 points in the last quarter to Denver?
So you know what? You know what? You're right on the right path, Wall Street. This is, again, as I was thinking about this, because, gosh, I wish Ali were here, because he's the one who says that. That kind of stuff in the NFL or any sport for that matter becomes inexplicable. The Denver Broncos to come back, 33 points in the fourth quarter?
Yes.
Yeah, they were shut out going into the fourth quarter. They scored their first 8 points a minute into the fourth quarter. Then the Giants scored 8 points, a touchdown immediately.
Yeah.
With 7 minutes to go, it was 26-8, and half the fans had left the Denver stadium. They're all leaving.
Exactly.
And I was watching the game, and believe me, the Giants' defense just stopped playing defense, and they just came in and won the game.
Exactly.
The coaching gave up. The coaching staff gave up, and maybe they're part of it.
You know what? Again, that's what you're exactly talking about, the area that I'm on, right over the target. My biggest problem with it is games like that, which, again, with this scandal coming out and seeing this scandal as it unfolds, you can't help asking yourself. In fact, I know people online immediately after this and said, what do you mean you only caught 3 guys? You're going to sit up here and tell me that it's not league-wide? And how do you not? Because the access to that kind of gambling and that kind of chicanery is easy.
Well, you could ask Roland, your producer, who I like a lot. I've had a few conversations with him, when he says hello to me when I'm coming on. But you can ask Roland this. All the NFL games, they have bets on, do you think Jackson Dart will have 2 touchdowns this game? Or Saquon Barkley, the over-under on his yards gain might be 99 or 102. And he could just stop running, or he could, this is all the players in the league. There's probably 150 of these every weekend on certain performance goals. for certain players, and you'd never know it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the game ends up what it ends up, but these performance goals are what all this cheating is about.
Exactly. And that's, you know what? That's where I think that the league is going to I think all leagues for that matter are going to have a reckoning with the average rank and file fans, because they always had a problem in the beginning that they felt like their teams were going to be corrupted in all of this because of the sports betting angle. It's like anything could happen, anyone could take advantage of it, and there's just no stopping it. And
There's two last things I want to run by you. Please
Real quick.
allow me. Number one, this proves that the organized crime has not faded to just a tiny minuscule of what it was 50 years ago.
also
They're
true.
alive and well using modern technology, and the Costa Nostra and Gambinos, they're all going strong. And number two, the over-under on your show today is 21, so you got 20 more calls to go. Thank you, Reese.
You have a wonderful one. You're just a mess. Let me take Lori. This is an interesting one because Lori's huge on baseball. Lori, let me ask you this. I know you were more affected by the MLB steroid scandal than even I was. I was so transfixed on that. You didn't leave the sport, but did it hurt it as much as this is going to hurt the NBA?
You know what? Listening to this whole thing, it's funny. I know that we've only got a couple of seconds to talk, but listening to this whole thing, all I keep thinking about is the Black Sox.
Yeah.
And how they threw the World Series. And all of this reminds me of all of that. And you would have thought that we would have learned from that. But people are stupid. And we don't history. History teaches nothing. And, yeah, I agree with your last caller. Listen, the mafia might be underground, but they are alive and well.
Yeah.
And still functioning quite nicely. And it's just, I don't think that, and the NBA was already going down the toilet. This is just going to be that last flush. I don't think it's going to.
This is the tip.
This question, all of the sports and all of this stuff.
Yeah, it's the tip of the iceberg, Lori. Thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in. Hit me up a little bit later. 100% right. This is going to get worse before it gets better. You can damn well bet. We'll talk about it throughout the show. You can call up as well. Now it's time to get into the WTIC newsroom. John Silva's back, right? I know I heard his voice. No, Dave Mager's still back. Okay, maybe Dave is still back. Hey, Dave, how are you? Let's get to the WTIC newsroom with Dave Mager. We'll be back.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
I think Wall Street Joe is right. Vote the under. Bet the under. Let's get to some headlines. It is a sad week for the Town Times, which is a weekly newspaper serving the Watertown area and its surrounding communities. They will cease publication after next week's edition, according to local officials, in a statement posted by Representative Joe Paletta, who says that he announced the closure is an indication of a trend seen nationwide as local newspapers struggle to survive. The Town Times had been what our small community is all about. He said, showing the good work of our civic organizations, or what our civic organizations do, highlighting our students and athletes and giving residents a voice through letters to the editor. The newspaper will publish its last issue on October 30th. The Town Times was first established in 1947, so we bid them goodbye. More than 680,000 nip-sized liquor bottles were sold in Middletown over the past 6 months, generating about $34,000 to the town via the state surcharge program. The latest nip sales statistics were released on Tuesday. Also, Larry Caffero, the executive director and general counsel of the Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of Connecticut, announced that the nickel per nip environmental fee, a statewide program, that had just passed its 4-year anniversary on October 1st, has now generated approximately $19 million for cities and towns across the state. Cafaro said that the revenue for the latest reporting period, April 1st to September 30th, was about $2.49 million, an increase in approximately $45,000 over that same period last year. I mean, I gotta ask, just, and again, I'm going to sound like, this. I'm going to sound like a neophyte. I know I am. I'm going to say, I used to drink, but I got to ask the question. How do you not ask the question? Okay? 680,000 nip sales in one town? Just one town? I don't understand how anybody wouldn't be looking at that going, wow, that's a lot. And I know which one is big. So apparently the, what's it called? Fireball? Is that the cinnamon flavored thing? I don't, to be honest with you, I've never.
That's nothing but $113,000 a month, man.
That's nothing but that's
$2 a nip.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. That is a lot. Maybe just me. I don't, like I said, I'm not trying to like look down on you because I quit drinking. Hey, drink, but I'm just saying that's a lot. That's a lot of nip bottles. 690,000? That's a lot for one town. I look at that number, I was like, what, for the state? When I first saw that number, I went, oh, no, that's Middletown. Anyway, someone's going to call up and says, hey, you haven't been here in a while. It makes sense. I'm just saying. Like I said, I don't want to criticize. Don't be bad. The United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit has denied en banc hearing in the Newsom v. Trump, effectively upholding the earlier panel decision that sided with Trump and affirmed his authority to federalize the California National Guard to support federal immigration enforcement in the area. California Governor Gavin Newsom and the state of California sued over President Trump's order, claiming that it was unconstitutional and violated state sovereignty. The U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer, who is the brother of the retired Supreme Court Justice Breyer, a Clinton appointee, granted Newsom a temporary restraining order and said that Trump's decision to federalize the National Guard was illegal. But the appellate panel ruled that the statute clearly empowers the president to act whenever he is unable with regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. So, I mean, people seem to forget that Donald Trump, like, I don't even know if it's the press that does it. They're not going into a courtroom with Donald Trump. Like, when this stuff is reported, people are thinking that Donald Trump is in the courtroom arguing and that he does not have a team of lawyers who know exactly what they're doing when they enact some of these things. Like, people keep saying, like, he keeps winning in the court and the courts are not abiding by the, like, perhaps the lawyers who are filing these suits do not understand that Donald Trump is within his authority to do so, and that's why he keeps winning. So they could hold him off for a little bit. But the lawyers that he is entrusted to do, in essence, to fight for what he's trying to do for the country, know what they're doing beforehand. Like, are you under the impression that Donald Trump is waking up one morning and saying, execute this? No, that's not it. Like, these things, like when they were getting ready to win in 2024, they were sitting down having meetings every day. What are we going to do on January 21st? They had this all lined up. It was all ready to go. They knew the political and the legal ramifications of these orders. They were way ahead of the game. So when these lawyers come out and try to put an injunction, they're the ones caught flat-footed because they're going, hey, do you think we'll win in court if we apply this? Yep. Here's the legal standing that we have, and we'll argue it this way. Okay, go with it. Sure enough, in some cases, yes, there are injunctions. But usually what do we find out when he goes to court? He loses. And then everybody goes on television and they say the obvious, right? It's a miscarriage of justice. How? The courts have looked at it and said, yes, he's with his legal authority. And they are calling that authoritarian. That's the part that makes me laugh. They're losing in court, and losing in court is now authoritarian. I don't say it. They get the Clinton judge that they want. They get the Biden judge that they want. They get the Obama judge that they want. And they get the first thing. See, he's being stopped at every turn. And then when they lose, they go, this is a miscarriage of justice. Okay. There you go. Now for the stupidest thing I read today.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
I got to be honest with you, I am absolutely sick and tired of Chris Murphy. And I'm sick and tired of the people who book him on television. Christoph, everything isn't illegal because you say so.
Well, listen, there's a lot of history that has taken place in the East Wing, and it was just destroyed without any conversation in the American public, without any consent of Congress. It was absolutely illegal. And yeah, that visual is powerful because you are essentially watching the destruction of the rule of law happen as those walls come down. It is just a symbol about how cavalier he is about every single day acting in new and illegal ways. That's the story with the killings in the Caribbean as well. The president just doesn't believe that any law applies to him, that he can destroy federal property, that he can steal from American citizens, that he can kill with impunity, that he can throw anyone in jail. We are not living in a functional democracy.
Yeah, again, I said I have to listen to this guy. He just goes on television. Of course, no one will ever check him. He's on Rachel Maddow's little sister's show, Chris Hayes, on her show, and just spewing a bunch of nonsense. Chris, it's not illegal just because you say it is. It's illegal to tear down the East Wing of the White House. No, we checked. It's not illegal. In fact, he's within his legal right to do so. And it's not just about the fact that it's been done by other presidents. But, look, Chris Murphy didn't have the advantage of being there during the Obama administration. But for those of you who think that this was all insane, look, we understand that the cost of doing this renovation is going to rise. It went from $200 million, and now it's going to raise to $300 million. But guess what? The taxpayer isn't paying for it. But since we're on the subject of it being the price of doing business being higher, let's consider how the media was responding, CNN in particular, to Barack Obama doing a $365 million renovation to the White House that was going to take 4 years.
All of the banging, the jackhammering, the dust, the confusion, the noise of all places to do construction is happening right here, the front lawn of the White House.
It's a 4-year renovation project. Estimated cost, $376 million.
Oh, my God, $376 million. But CNN was on the scene with a hard hat, celebrating it. Yeah, we're going to change the White House. And why wouldn't they? They had the first black president. They were probably thinking they were going to put a discotheque on the darn thing. He, of course, did the obvious thing and put a basketball court there. But you know what? I'm not calling it racial.
Buckets.
But, I mean, for crying out loud, okay? No one seemed to have a problem with it at all. When Obama was like, yeah, we got a black president. Why not change the place around? It's been occupied by white people all the time. The last time we did anything sports-related there, Nixon built a bowling alley. Black people don't bowl. Someone actually said that to me. And then I met Roland. I tell them about him every day. What do you mean black people don't bowl? Let me introduce you to a guy.
There's like 20 million black Americans that bowl.
I know. Trust me, I know. Some of these people. Remember when Shaquille O'Neal said he didn't invest in Starbucks because he said black people don't drink coffee? Who told him that? Where the hell?
Who told him that?
I was like, what?
I grew up on my grandma drinking coffee.
Are you kidding me? I'm like, there's a reason why I know what Folgers and Sanka taste like. I know the difference between brewed and instant coffee growing up. Bodegas have been selling coffee for 50 cents. They're probably 75 now, maybe even $1 nowadays. I haven't been to the hood in a while. Somebody's got to have to tell me what the average cost of a bodega cup of coffee is right now. I used to drink it light and sweet. Now I just have it black with sugar. But that's right. Zoran in New York made it free. That's right. There's no cost for coffee anymore. There's no cost. Let's get to the phones real quick. Gary is in Southington. Hello, sir.
Hey, Reese.
Yeah, what's up?
Yes, you were talking about the difference of the way they're handling the court cases, or the media's handling the court cases when Trump wins.
Oh, yeah.
Are you forgetting the depth of Trump derangement syndrome?
No, of course not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he does. It's going to be a negative spin on it. Every single thing.
But do they not think?
Such insanity.
Do you not? This is the part that I have the most difficulty with. And unfortunately, it always bears out to be true, Gary. I keep saying to myself, does the news media not know that average people have the capacity to look up if what they're telling them is the truth? And then I actually talk to people who follow that news media, and they didn't even bother to look it up. They take the word of them. They don't even do their own background check on these folks.
Yeah, because it makes them all giddy inside. If they can come up with some negative aspect of whatever Trump does, the facts don't matter. How about the fact that he's been labeled a racist when, in fact, Jesse Jackson gave him awards for all the time and money he's put into the minority communities in New York? Do you know this?
Yeah.
He's given awards.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, people, as I just mentioned not too long ago, there's, this local activist that people have been talking about, the Connecticut Sentinel, was talking about the guy. He put a swastika on MAGA, talking about how Donald Trump is, of course, a Nazi. But in his profile picture, the guy is photographed with Jennifer Hudson. And I had mentioned that. How ridiculous was it that this guy didn't do his background, that when Jennifer Hudson's family members were senselessly murdered in Chicago, that it was Donald Trump who put them up for 6 months in the Trump International in Chicago. And for free, didn't even make the connection while he's calling MAGA Nazis with a photograph of a black woman that Donald Trump helped and assisted.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It doesn't matter what the facts are. Do you know who Brad Stein is?
Escapes me. Please tell me.
So he's a Christian comedian, but he's also written some books. And,
okay.
I actually saw him live. He's real funny. So in one of his books, he says the difference between the left and the right is one of them deals with reality and one doesn't. One makes up their own. Well, one makes up their own reality. I think we know what side that is.
Yeah, interesting.
So that's what they do. Yeah, they just make up their own reality, and then everybody runs with it, and the media echoes it.
Yeah.
And then people want to believe it. They simply want to believe it. It doesn't matter how crazy it is or how untrue it is. As long as it fits their worldview, then it's good.
It echoes their own sensibilities, right?
Yeah.
So it's like in your mind, it's like, I know that this is true. And then when you have the corporate media or the legacy media repeating that to you, you're only sort of, solidified and confirmed in your own belief by saying, see, look, even they're saying it. I get those texts all the time when they, somebody says something and then someone will post something online repeating the same thing that they believe, and then they use that as proof. It's like, see, my favorite one is, Gary, I'll tell you this before you go. My favorite one is that when there's this white woman, I can't remember her name, but she is a very self-hating white woman who calls herself a teacher and historian. So she's always online denouncing white folks and cheerleading for black people. And black people will send that to me and say, see, even this white woman agrees. And my response to it is, it's interesting that in order to certify what you believe, you actually have to go to a white person in order to certify your belief by saying it's only true now because the white people say so. And I'm like, how does that make your argument factual? And I think that's what we're experiencing here, is that now they have the corporate media sort of backing what they already believe, and therefore making that true, and therefore the cognitive dissonance, so to speak.
Yeah, well, the white liberals are worse at that as far as attacking white people, but they stick up or they go to bat for black people unless the black people are conservative.
Yeah,
and then the black people are garbage just like the white people.
Oh, I've got a perfect example of that. I'll play that in a little bit. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate you, man. You got it. Let's go to Doug before we go to break. How we doing, Doug?
Good, Reese. Hey, was that figure on Nips 690,000?
Yes, the number exactly. No, 680,000 nips that were purchased.
Okay, well, I just figured it out at 1 3/4 ounces per nip. I think that's around 9,433 gallons.
Wow.
That's a lot of booze.
That's. I know. Look, I'm sorry. That number just really, really rang out to me. And it was published in a couple of articles today. In fact, there was a feature article on Larry Cafaro that was about this, talking about how, this sale of the nips, if you will, was like his brainchild in doing this, this 5%, this 5-cent sort of purchase thing in order to keep, because remember there was a story maybe about a year ago about the streets were littered with these nip bottles. So in order to clean them up, they put this 5% or 5-cent a surcharge on it so it would be redeemable. So they're saying that this is his brainchild. So that's, I guess, why the story is being covered. But that's a lot of money, a lot of bottles purchased in one town. So
yeah, well, if it's one town, that town is in a bathtub.
You know what? Let me that's a good one. Let me ask you this. If you had to speculate, and I'm going to go out on the deep end on this one, why do you think there's so many? Do you think it's because nips, I kind of feel, is something that that kids would purchase, like younger people. So
absolutely not. Older people.
Yeah, okay. See, Roland thinks it's older people.
I know it's older people.
Yeah, but well, it's kind of like drink and hide.
Yeah, drink and hide. Good point, Roseanne. What did you say? So Roseanne thinks it's 40 years and older.
There's old folks.
Yeah. So okay. So Roland really thinks that it's old folks that are doing it.
I see it. I see it every day.
See it a lot. Is this to moderate their drinking? Do you think? Oh, Roseanne says yes, to moderate. She thinks it's
moderate and give them a little bit of taste, like in between work hours.
Oh,
that's a lot of booze.
That is a lot, though. That is. Yeah. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, and for a town, if you count how many people are in the town, a lot of people in that town are getting sloshed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of. Thank you, Doug. I think it's fair. I think you're right. I think it's fair to say it's a concerning number. I don't want to. I know. I sound like I'm trying to disparage Middletown. I'm not. I really am not. But that number to me is a little astounding. But somebody's going to have to help me on that one. We'll get to that. We got more news, more views. We'll talk about the Democrats in Maine. A story that is giving them some, giving them some indigestion in that race. And we'll talk about that and much, much more. I got to play the Stephen A. Smith clip as well. I won't forget. So stand by. We'll get to your phone calls as well. Just hold on. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, did you hear? It's our birthday, 100 years. Did you happen to get us a present?
Working on it. We're back. Let me get to the phones real quick, and then I'm going to get to the Stephen A. Smith piece that I thought was hilarious because it doesn't even make any sense. If anybody was paying attention to the press conference today about this gambling scandal, would know Donald Trump has nothing to do with it, but I thought it was odd. Let's get to the phones real quick. Let's go to Ken in Meriden. Hello, sir.
Hey, Reese. How you doing?
I'm all right, sir. What's up?
Hey, just wanted to touch base on the Middletown
the nips
issue.
Yeah, can I qualify something? Or correct something? I said that they were redeemable for 5 cents. I got that wrong. I did not know that. It was only it's a 5 cent tax on them, but I thought it was a redeemable sort of cost that was on it, but it is not redeemable. So I want to correct that. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. My point. You said it was $690,000-ish dollars.
No. So it's more than 680,000 bottles were sold.
Oh, bottles.
Yeah, they ended up. Yes, they said in Middletown over the past 6 months, which generated about $34,000 to the town.
Okay. So 680. I kind of rounded it up to 690 because I'm driving. And I checked. There's roughly 47,600 residents.
Wow.
That comes out to roughly 14.5 per person.
14.5 nips per person in Middletown alone.
Yep. and that's the whole population. So if you take out for just the adults, that's going to go up.
My wife is in the background, and I can hear her going, "Jeez." Okay, so that's a lot. Okay, that is a lot in 6 months. That's again. So you're with me on this one, Ken. I'm not out of sorts by saying this seems like an alarming amount of liquor to be purchased, even on the nip. Even on the nip level, this is. I'm not. Again, like I said, I'm not looking at this. I don't want to be critical because I know some people are saying, "What are you trying to say, Reese?" I'm like, I'm really not trying to say anything other than this seems like a lot.
And what did the caller before me say? How many gallons was that he figured?
A little more than 90,000.
9,000.
Oh, did he say nine? Oh, a little more than 9,000. I apologize. A little more than 9,000. Yeah, 9,000 gallons is a lot of gallons.
Yeah.
Again, so I know that people are going to say it's like I'm not ripping on Middletown. I'm just saying for one town, I would have totally accepted this number if it were maybe Hartford proper, right? Say Hartford considering, let's say Hartford, East Hartford, West Hartford. If that were the number, I would go, okay, makes sense. It's the major city. It's the capital city. Makes sense, right? But Middletown, this seems a bit odd. And maybe somebody has to correct it for me. Maybe they can put it in perspective. But thank you for that number. 14 per person, and that included children. So if we were to take maybe 2/3 of that, we would probably see that number skyrocket per person.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Ken. Good work. Good work on the numbers. Let's go to Mark in Columbia Lake. Hello, Mark.
Hey there. I was doing some math as well. It's like a nip a day for everybody in town.
Well, in 6 months, I think that we're talking like a 2-week bender. I mean, but not. It's only a nip, but still, I mean, it's 14 bottles per person. As you just heard, that's 2 weeks. A nip. There's, every day it's for 2 weeks. That's one nip. Somebody said in the chat room, I thought was interesting, that said that it is easy. I think it was Ben, in fact, who said it. Let me get his exact quote. Ben says that people buy nips because they're easy to hide. Drink one and throw it out a window. You can't do that with a pint, which of course you cannot. It's interesting. Joe and Lisa said that Middletown is home to Wesleyan, so don't blame us. It could very well be to college students, which I'm inclined to believe. Thank you, Joe and Lisa. I think, look, and again, this is me playing devil's advocate here and trying to sort of find some reason here. I think that Joe and Lisa may have a good point here, because if colleges probably play a huge role in nip purchases, even if Roseanne and everybody else is right, that Roland is saying that some older people buy it. But if I were to split this up, I would say it's the older folks that don't want to have, drink too much, and the young kids who want to buy a nip, while they're sitting in the middle of class or, want to moderate their drinking.
Right.
So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was going to say, just we could divide it up and do it in any direction, and half the people are drinking, maybe, and half the people are not. But,
right.
So
It's still a lot of bottles.
It's still a lot of bottles. I hope they were all recycled.
We can only hope. We can only hope. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Let's go to Charlie in Avon. Hello, Charlie.
Hey, Reese, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. What's up?
So, I actually used to own a liquor store.
Okay, perfect.
So I can give you a little insight.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you went over this already, but it's not. There is no deposit on it. You
Right.
can't refund.
I thought it was. I thought it had a redeemable. I read that wrong on the 5 cents. That's just a 5-cent tax. Because I thought that they were trying to end the litter problem by putting that redeemable 5 cents on it, and that's not the case. And a lot of people corrected me on that. And I apologize for that.
That is kind of the case. It was meant to have people be able to clean up the nips off the side of the street.
Right.
And that's what we were told when the state brought it down, and the liquor stores pay the distributor that 5 cents, and the distributor has it on there. So we don't. It always just keeps on getting passed on.
Okay. So wait a minute. If you're
supposed to be diverse, yeah, go ahead.
Charlie, no, I want to ask just to be certain. So there was an idea or a proposal to put the 5 cent redeemable so that people who purchased the nips would return them and get that 5%, and that was going to help with the littering. That was a proposal.
No, they were never cared about redeeming them. It was always going to be a surcharge. I think the state just wanted to, grab some cash. You know what I mean?
Good. I misunderstood that. So working at a liquor store, talk to me a little bit about that.
So as for the people who are buying them, your wife is more correct than you are.
Really?
So I had a lot of people would moderate their drinking.
Mm-hmm.
They would come in, they buy 6 or 7, depending on the day.
Okay.
I had a couple people that would come in, buy 2, 3 twice a day. I knew of other people that would buy 2 from my store, 2 from the store down the road, and 2 from another store down the road. This way they wouldn't be like
frequent flyers.
Exactly. 'Cause, we do still have a responsibility to not serve intoxicated people.
Right.
I cannot sell somebody a bottle of booze if they are walking in the store drunk.
Gotcha.
Just like a restaurant, you're not supposed to serve it because I'm still liable.
Right.
But also, there's, the people who play on the golf course. They put them in a bag, and they have a couple little nippers on the golf course. 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds, stuff like that. I myself love to bring them out for Halloween when the adults are trick-or-treating. I throw them a little nipper, then the kids get candy.
That's what you want, intoxicated chaperones during trick-or-treat.
Yeah. It's usually the neighbors all walking around, so we have a good time.
At least it's just a nip. Like you're not handing out a pint.
No, but I mean, it was, a lot of it is controlling the drinking. And
right.
A lot of it also is, I buy them sometimes for fun. Like, let's say we're going on the train down, what's that train that they do? The Polar Express.
Okay.
Couple of friends of us, we'll buy a sleeve of the bourbon nips and we'll spike our hot chocolate and go for a ride.
People do them. It's interesting you say that because I remember gift bags to like exclusive parties that I used to go to. They would throw a little bit of those liquor bottles in them as well. If it was like an adult kind of beverage party, they would do these gift bags that when you left, sure enough, there would be a couple of these nips and different ones that be like us Seagrams or, the Fireball was a big one that would always be in those. And I never touched that. I'd never liked the flavored liquor, if you will. So, I mean, I totally know that. But I think that, the reason why you're saying that Roseanne is a little more right on this than I am, I think it's a good point that you're making, is because, and they're twofold on this, and tell me if I'm right. One, it's the moderating the drinking. Is the other reason finances? Because usually if there's somebody who has a drinking problem, they may be out of work and they only have a little bit of cash, and they're using like maybe change that they've, panhandled for to buy, at least get their liquor fix, but buy it in small sort of moderation because they can't afford the larger bottle.
That's half true, yes. I mean, I did have people that would come in and buy nips with change that they had.
Right.
But also, you can get a pint of Papa vodka, whatever it may be, for still like $5. So
right.
A sleeve of nips is usually going for $10 or so. They're usually about $1 a piece.
Okay, wow, they're $1 a piece?
At minimum. I think the state minimum is about 99 cents a piece on those things. So usually even the cheap ones go for like $1.30. Like the Smirnoff for like $1.30.
If I mean, not that, like I said, I've never done the nips before, but how many of those do you really need to do, like, to get a considerable buzz? Do you have to do like 3 or 4 or 4 or 5?
Well, I mean, some of them are 100 proof.
That's right. Mark was just texting me that. He just said that, one of them is 100 proof. So I would imagine that maybe 2 of those will get you.
You can get pretty good off of them.
Wow. So I'm so naive on this front.
The other thing is you'll never really hear liquor store owners complain too much about it.
Okay.
Because the profit margin on nips is massive compared to your regular bottle.
Really? Can you share? Like, okay, so $1.25 on a nip. What's the resale? I mean, what's the wholesale value?
65 cents.
Yeah,
70 cents.
Yeah, that's a good return. Yeah.
So you'd rather sell $10 worth of that than $10 of a bottle of wine that you're only making, $2 off of.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. Thank you for the education. As a former drinker myself, I'm learning something even after the fact. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. You got it. All right. We'll take a break. We'll take some more. Apparently this, again, it was just part of my headlines, but you guys are really interested in this. I got to play the Stephen A. Smith thing. I promised I would. So I'm going to play that too. Plus, we'll get into Democrats and their Nazi problem as well, and so much more. So stick around for that. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, I'm going to take these 2 calls, and then I'll do a little bit of the Stephen A. Smith thing, but I got a whole bunch of other stuff to get into. So, stand by for that, because if you haven't heard it, I want to play that for you, and then we'll talk about the Democrats and their Nazi problem as well. And then we'll take your phone calls as well as 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Lee in Newington first. What's up, Lee? How are you?
Wow, I'm excited. I got through.
Not a problem. What's going on?
Okay. Well, the one I was listening to it, and I don't know if I heard this already, but somebody talked about they're easy to hide.
Yes.
Well, and for girls, I mean, I think guys could probably do it too, but for girls, it's easy to throw a few in your pocketbook and then go to a bar somewhere and just get a soda.
Right. So is this, now Lee, is this something that the ladies would do? Let's say there's not enough guys buying the ladies drinks. There's, sort of saving a little bit of money because alcohol at the bar can be, especially a mixed drink, can be upwards of $10 to $11. And this is a good opportunity to just maybe get a Diet Coke, throw a little bit of Fireball in it or a little bit of rum in it, and they can, sort of party at the same time, kind of saving some money.
Yeah. But I think it's very rare. It's been my experience, and I'm no chopped liver dish or anything, but I don't think guys buy girls drinks very much anymore. I think guys are kind of afraid.
Wow.
Of getting in some kind of picking on some young girl.
Is that really, that's
or something.
Isn't that so? You just mentioned something. Speaking of that, and I'm thinking about it on a sort of a larger scale. It's the one thing that I haven't heard in sort of our lexicon as of late. I have not heard a lot of people talk about ladies' night at bars and clubs anymore. That used to be a big deal because the objective was, why did you have ladies' night? And coming from Manhattan, spending a lot of my time in sort of my clubbing years in Manhattan, the reason why you had ladies' night, the genius behind it was, say ladies free, and then the guys will flock because they're hoping to meet girls who are going to be there. Because, of course, the free entry for ladies is a great place for you to find a girl.
Be there getting drunk.
Yes, exactly. What a great opportunity for guys to meet girls. And then now, as you just mentioned, with, the post-Me Too movement, with the sort of guys kind of being concerned about, hey, if I hit on this girl, is this going to be deemed, as harassment or whatever? And that sort of apprehension is now sort of killed that vibe inside the bar. So now girls are not getting free drinks. Guys aren't offering them drinks unless, it's got to be the hottest guy in the place.
Yeah, well, and that, not only that, but, women's lib has knocked us off our pedestal, and so they're thinking, hey, she can afford a drink just as much as I can. Why should I? You know what I mean?
I wonder if women are...
Exactly.
Yeah. Roland said exactly. Lee, that's a great point, and thank you for sharing that. I hadn't thought of that. That's a very good point, that times have changed in that sort of dynamic between men and women at the bars have changed the whole thing around.
Buy me a drink now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you get older, it's still a little bit like that, but there are more gentlemen when I go to a bar that's my own age.
Yeah. Well,
there's
that's
not a whole lot of them around.
Yeah. It's somewhat
You know?
hopeful. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate you. Let me get to the weather and traffic. Thank you again. With Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We'll get to weather and traffic again. Can you imagine during all of this, not one person in any of those crime families said before the whole, they set up this whole poker game thing, that one of the guys turned around and said, well, we ain't got no white guys. All we got is black guys. That's all we got. Well, this guy's name is Chauncy. We ain't got no white guys. I'm imagining one of them said that. Well, the only way we can get these guys in is we get the black guys. I know they said it. You know they said it deep down in your heart. You know it was said. Well, we can't get Luca. Yeah, the Luca guy. We can't get him. We got to have a white guy. I know it was said. I know it was said. Right now, Mark in West Hartford is probably bellied over, because I know he and I were talking about this morning. Is going, this is impossible. I cannot believe this. After everything we learned in The Godfather. That's what's going on here. I know one of them. I know when at least the Genovese family was going, why? Well, we got to use this black guy. Well, we got no white players. Come on, the game is changing now. There's a lot of white guys. I know it was sad. You're all thinking it. You can say what you want about me. You're all thinking it. I just say what you think. Don't co-sign me. Mark Christopher has got weather and traffic in the BPS Traffic Center. Hello, Mark. He's probably just finishing up or staying as far away from me as he can.
Yeah. I will not be having dinner with you by the window in the front of the restaurant near the street. That's for sure. Reese, thank you very much.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me get back to the phones real quick. Kevin is on the line. Hello, you, sir.
Hi, Reese. Hey, listen, this is that Nips thing is pretty personal to me.
Okay.
I've got a lot of experience with them, and I think most of your callers, including yourself, have missed the boat on why there's so many. And
you're talking about the purchases in Middletown, like why the number is so high.
Yeah. Well, that's just indicative of what's going on everywhere. But so that's just an example. And I don't think it's an outlier, but I think they're mainly have one purpose, and the purpose is for drinking and driving. You're not going to buy a quart. It's a lot cheaper to buy a quart or a fifth or whatever. I mean, it just doesn't make sense really to buy Nips. Other than those, I think the outliers would be some kids and doing the women.
Right.
It was suggested. I could tell you, I have been picking those things up for a long time, and there is one exit on to Route 8 that I could show you some photographs, and they're all Nips from one person. I've even traced down who these people are.
Wow.
And I nickname them, like Orange Smirnoff guy, that type of thing. Sometimes they have chasers, and the piles that were created by this one guy will blow your mind.
Really?
And it's been going on for a couple of years. And I run a group that cleans up the Naugatuck River.
Okay.
And I've brought the kids to that exit to clean up. I have pictures with these kids with these piles of nips. Again, it's from one person. It was a big mistake.
Can I ask a quick question, Mark? I mean, Kevin. Sorry, Kevin. In what you're saying is like, so you're saying that this is coming from one person. You have the evidence to support that. But my question is this: when you say that you're seeing a large accumulation in one area, can you, because you obviously navigate through this area, are you talking about piles of it over what, like 6 months, over a month?
No, almost days. The guy comes from work. He goes to his favorite liquor store, gets 2 nips and a chaser, and then deposits it out the window before he gets onto the highway.
Almost a routine.
Oh, it's not almost a routine.
Yeah, okay.
I'd stake my life on what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's astounding. And there was one particular guy that had this stretch that it was 2 Smirnoffs with a chaser, and it was always a Molson Golden Ice. And I would take a reporter, and I could see a little paper bag. And I said, I know what's in that paper bag.
Right.
And sure enough, we go over and we open it up, and it's exactly what I said. He's deviated only twice in a couple of years, and he had a Bush Light or something like that.
So it's always a light beer. I find that interesting. So let me ask you this. So so obviously there are 2 things that are happening here. Obviously, there's that the drinking and driving aspect. That's one. 2, of course,
too easy.
Yeah, it's the littering. Now, is this common knowledge to people like the authorities? Because I'm sure that, that's a menace to society's sort of degree of littering and alcoholism. What do you do to remedy that?
Let me. I'm kind of I'm a nut. I'm a good nut.
Okay.
And there was a state cop that was parked on that exit.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over and I was picking him up, and I just showed that to the guy. All they have to do is stake the damn place out.
Right.
So that's the state police. So one of the big mistakes they made is making it you can't redeem them. My kids could have made a fortune. And
just in that one spot, right?
They skirted it. They missed the boat.
Yeah.
It was almost like they shot at the wrong basket, and the other, team won.
Yeah, that's interesting. That one place like that, and obviously this is something that can be it's verifiable because you have the photographs of it. You're there all the time. People know that it's there. You've contacted the police to let them know that this is this is a
Nobody
constant.
knows it's there, Reese.
No one.
Reese,
Well, because you're cleaning it up.
They think it's no, because they think it's everybody. They think it's 100 people.
Are you
That's
okay?
too
So
many.
here's my question: if you had to guess, just based on the estimation and what you viewed, you could, and you're talking about Middletown. This isn't
over 2 decades.
Okay, this over 2 decades. Is this in Middletown or somewhere else?
No, it's in Waterbury.
Okay, Waterbury. Okay, no, I'm just talking about the Middletown was the place that had the 680,000.
No, I'm guessing. Listen, I'm not a rocket scientist,
right.
But I could tell you, human behavior is human behavior.
Right.
This is the nips are the easiest. I also know drinkers that buy them. And they admit to me why. They don't want to get caught with a fifth of their favorite booze in the car. So it's so easy to get that quick high and toss it out the window. That's why they litter the roads.
Wow.
And I think when you redirect it and say it's all these kids and these women, they're stuffing it in their pocketbooks.
Well, no, I'm saying no. I'm not. I don't want you to get the impression I'm ignoring the people who are clearly doing it, because that was some of the commentary that was said here in the chat room, and other people have talked about it. that yes, it's an easy fix. You know, you get that, and you're not driving around with a fifth in your car because, of course, not only is that dangerous, but of course, you do some serious time for that. Totally understand the convenience of it, and of course, the ability to thwart any police activity having done it. You toss it out and there's no evidence of it. I totally get that part. But if I'm looking at one town and 680,000 bottles being sold, what I'm saying is that as much as I want to believe you or agree with you that there are people who are discarding that or driving on the highway, if indeed what you're saying is the overall reason why so many are being sold, we have a bigger problem here, right? And now
we do.
Yeah, no. And I've already suggested the reason why I even paid attention to this, because one town with 680,000 bottles is a hell of an alarm bell, right? Like, to me, that's a red flag.
It is a red flag to me too, but it didn't surprise me because when I add up that one individual, I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer.
What do you think that one individual, by the way,
they got a number?
What do you think that one individual is responsible for? If you had to sum up a number, what would you think that one individual in a year?
Oh my God.
What do you say? Well, hold on. You said it's every day. You said it's every day he's at work, so 5 days a week. 5 days a week, and about
and if I cleaned them up, and I used to test it by cleaning them up and see how fast they came up. You caught me off guard because I have a memory like a steel trap, and I can't remember those numbers, but I did kind of have those. But the point being is, what I'd like to just for your own curiosity, I'd like to send you some of these photographs. They're really it blew the kids' minds. These are kids, juniors and seniors in high school, and freshmen and sophomores in college that we'd hire to clean the Naugatuck River over the course of 6 weeks each year, and that was just a little detour I took.
Well, Kevin, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a couple of. I'm going to get back to this story real quick. I have your telephone number. I'm going to send you a text from my office line, and you can text me the photographs there, and then we'll reestablish this conversation tomorrow. Okay.
Fair enough, but give me a day or two to.
No. Yeah, take your time. We're good. Thank you, boss man. All right, so stand by for that. It's a great call, by the way. And look, like I said, I see the interest in this story. I just, again, in my head, when I saw it, I just responded to it that anybody else would. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. So I put it in my package for headlines today. And I know the last time I brought this up, it really got the same reaction. It really wasn't kind of a gimme, but I appreciate everybody calling about it. But I do want to get to the Stephen A. Smith thing at the top of the hour that I talked about at the top of the show. Let me play that clip for you real fast. Then I'm going to go to Frank and Woodbridge on my on that whole gambling part. This is Stephen A. Smith talking about this investigation into gambling as it pertains to Chauncey Billups, the NBA, sports betting, and the whole nine. Here's what he said.
Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story, okay? Remember, Trump has a long, long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were coming half the time? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the culture. When people want to go to a casino, when people want to gamble, when people want to party, or whatever the case may be. This was his kind of connection to that. Why am I glad you're here, Monica? Because don't be surprised if the WNBA is next on his list. Mm-hmm. Because when you've got all of these protests that have been going out there and people that have been protesting against him and what have you, this man is coming. He's coming. And I've been saying it for a long time. And to me, this is the latest nugget of evidence that we're talking about right here. That's not to question the legitimacy of the case. We don't know.
That's exactly what it is. The whole purpose of that diatribe is to question the validity of the investigation.
We're all sitting up here and we're saying that we don't know. But anybody that has been around him, anybody that has talked to him, anybody that has seen his reactions from the sports leagues and the positions that people have taken, they are not surprised at what's going on today.
Now, the downside to this, Stephen A., by the way, should know better. And a lot of people in the chat room have been talking about it. Stephen A., this investigation began in 2022. This has nothing to do with the Trump administration. This investigation, in fact, some of the stuff that went on happened in 2023. Donald Trump has absolutely nothing to do with this. This was brought to the attention of the FBI director, Kash Patel, who then found out the legitimacy of it. This years-long investigation has come to a head because of all the hard work that happened before the Trump administration got here. So it lended itself to a lot of people asking the question, Stephen, are you trying to run cover for Chauncy, or is there something else? Because, look, again, this is allegations, right? Because that's what Stephen A. is doing here, right? To some degree, that's what he's throwing out there. I'm not saying that this story isn't legitimate, but you have to ask the question. Well, good. Since we're asking questions, since you seem to be, again, and placing blame on Donald Trump isn't legitimate of a claim at all. This investigation wasn't spearheaded by him or anyone in his cabinet, Kash Patel or otherwise, Pam Bondi or otherwise. They joined the administration, and this investigation is already in progress. They are already doing the work. Sure, those individuals answered to Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and said to them, hey, this is what we've got going on, and this is the evidence we're gathering, and this is what we're going to be pursuing in the coming months when we start our investigation, at least into the penalty stage. So to put this on Donald Trump, say, oh, Donald Trump is coming, and I wouldn't be surprised the WNBA is next. I look at that and I say to myself, is someone trying to cover something up? Because the NBA, they didn't turn this into a Trump administration trying to embarrass us at all. This looks like the Biden administration, who, by the way, these folks, the Biden administration, these folks are absolutely directly in line. We're talking about cohesive as ever on ESPN and on a sports world as it goes to social justice, trans people in women's sports. The body, the Department of Justice, that took this on was the Biden DOJ, pinning it on Trump as he embarks on his first year in the administration to suggest. And you heard, it wasn't like we didn't hear the press conference. It wasn't like we didn't hear that these investigators started since 2022. Some investigations started as early as 2019. And that was just one facet of it. And is Stephen A. forgetting about the crime family aspect of all of this? The mafia aspect in all of this? This isn't racial. This isn't any anger towards the sports world. And anybody trying to run cover because Chauncey's a good guy and good. I'm just as surprised as most people are that Chauncy Billups is caught up in this. Okay, I am. I would have never imagined. I can't speak for the other guys because I don't care. I'm sure one person turned state's evidence on him, their first arrest and suspension, a ban from the league. I'm pretty sure that guy played a huge role in dropping dimes on everyone. But speaking of which, this is another thing that I want to get out there. If anybody wants to be concerned about anything, be concerned about Chauncy Billups. Be very concerned. We'll talk to Frank in a minute. Frank, stay on the line. I promise I want to talk to you about this. Because I want you to hear this. And I know I jokingly said, hey, what do we only got, a black guy? But think about this. Chauncey's going to be pulled in to the feds. And he's going to be asked, hey, what do you know? Hey, want to save your reputation? Hey, you want to squeal a little bit? You should be more concerned about Chauncy right now. Because there's a lot of people who are going to be asking that question. Hey, Chauncy, you want to button up? Stephen A., you got some concern. If you want to be concerned about the guy, be concerned there. Just saying.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yes, we are back. Let me see. You know what I didn't do? Forgive me. I am so sorry. I cannot believe I forgot to do this.
Savory, flavory, bagel, deli, and bakery. Between rounds.
I got so caught up. Congratulations goes to Vito A. in East Hartford. He is today's recipient of the dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. If you'd like to win, you got to go to reeseontheradio.com to enter. Enter as many times as you like, and you got to live in Connecticut, and you must not have won within the last 6 months in order to participate. I'm going to I'll take Jeremy in Waterbury real quick. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. What's up?
I'm not trying to throw a curveball into what you're talking about right now.
Oh, no, I'm not talking. I'm not talking about anything, but you go any direction you want.
I have a couple stories that I think you'd find interesting. One has to do with Kool and the Gang from yesterday.
Okay.
I'm a professional jazz musician, and probably 10 years ago, I was supposed to play a gig, and we were all set up. And 10 minutes before the gig, the owner tells us that we got bumped because they double booked us, and the bass player from Kool and the Gang and his band was going to play.
Oh.
And I didn't mind because, just like you said, you love talking to him.
Yeah.
I love to be bumped by someone like.
That's a great story to tell, right? You know, it's like you would.
Yeah. I was gonna call yesterday, but I didn't want to interrupt.
That's okay, no problem. Was that the only thing you wanted to opine, or did you have something else?
One more thing. Like, it must have been like a year ago. Oh. You and Mark Christopher were talking about like weird, strange jobs you had to do.
Yes.
Yes, and Mark talked about he had to like dry hemp leaves and things like that, or something.
Yeah, something weird like that. Yeah.
But I wanted to call and just tell you real something because of your background with music,
yes,
things like that. So when I was in college, I was conducting a band, and after high school band was over, this woman came up to me. She's Vita Muir. She runs like the Litchfield Jazz Fest.
Uh-huh.
She's like, "Oh, you look very good in your tux. Are you going to the jazz festival?" I'm like, "No, I'm a college kid. I can't really afford it." And she's like, "Bring your tux. You'll get in for free." So I show up to the jazz festival. They let me in, and she says, "Okay, go get dressed in your tux." I'm like, "Okay." So I get dressed in my tux. I go behind the circus tent. Around the corner comes Eartha Kitt.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was hired for free admission to stand there as a waiter as she sang songs and entertained, and she kind of like seduced me, and I had to be a waiter and stand there with a straight face, and she made me like drink champagne. Yeah.
That is incredible. Just off the fly, you're on stage. You're technically, well, because Eartha Kitt did sing jazz, but you were there in essence as a prop for Eartha Kitt during her performance.
Yeah, and she's seducing me, rubbing her hands on me. Then at the very end, she made me drink the champagne. Everyone was dying laughing. It was a great show, but I had to sit there and not even smile. And all I did was stare at the back of the circus tent, because I'm like, I can't laugh. And my grandma used to always talk about Eartha Kitt, and how awesome she was. So it was a great random experience for a job.
Hey, listen, there's no such thing as coincidence, my friend. Not at all. That is a great story. Thank you for sharing that with me, Jeremy.
No problem. Thank you, man.
You got it. You got it. We'll be back. More news, more views. And we got Frank in Woodbridge. We'll talk about this whole thing. I just want to get his take on it. I don't want him to self-indict. Let's get to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans.
On News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
I will get back to the phones and everybody in a second, but let me get to Frank in Woodbridge. How are you, sir?
Good. I don't know what I would do if I was that guy, Billups.
Yeah, this is, again, look, the names on this rap sheet, as it were, and I'm looking at it from the New York Post. We're talking about Bonanno family, Lucchese family. Who's the other one here? I think there's one more.
Gambino,
yes, Gambino family. And these,
Genovese.
Yeah, and Genovese. These are like, we're not talking about run-of-the-mill folks. These are like people from what we called in New York the Five Families, right?
Right.
And if you're wrapped up in this, as Chauncy Billups is, the first phone call, I mean, sure, he's going to make bail, but you know that somebody's going to reach out because there are going to be sort of two ends to this. There are going to be the folks who are like co-conspirators in this case, there's cohorts, and then there's going to be the feds on the other hand who are going to say to him, hey, your reputation's on the line. You're a coach, in the NBA. You're a Hall of Famer. What are you going to do? So, of course, you're saying to yourself, what's the outcome? I'm not going into witness protection program. I can't go into witness protection program. What, am I going to live in Wyoming? That's not going to happen. So,
well, does he have a family?
Yes, of course he does.
Well, then you can't do it. He's going to have to he's going to have to plead guilty and go to prison. What else is he going to do?
So
I mean, he can't.
Because I know he's going to be asked, if you will, right? I mean, there's going to be the ask. It's like, hey, what are you going to do here? So,
Reese, you know what they'll end up doing if he testifies? They'll get a black guy to kill him. Yeah, think about that. They'll get a black man to kill him. Think about that. That's why he'll have no idea it's coming. He'll be looking for an Italian guy, and one of his own kind will blow his head off. That's what'll happen. No, I'm not talking to the FBI. I'd rather go to prison. How many years is he facing?
I don't know yet. I mean, there has not been any talk as of yet, like what that's going to be. I mean, I'm going to start. I'm going to look into this. I haven't even read the indictment yet because it's way too much to gather.
He's going to be looking for somebody from the mafia, and some black guy is going to walk up and blow his brains
That's
out.
usually, and it's interesting because and from what we saw so far in all of this, there has been a level of, let's say, inclusiveness in this operation that almost lends to your theory, which says, if I'm concerned about whether or not this guy is going to, because all you need to do is, in one case, is to say, you put the word out there that Chauncy is, he's cooperating. There's the word. He's cooperating, and you're exactly right. In that case, it's like, how are you going to operate it under those circumstances without like 24/7 protection? You can't just go out into the world anymore. That life is over for you.
Over. All right. And he's going to be looking for a white guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that, listen, I'll tell you this. I don't, and I think that the FBI and every other, sort of counterintelligence agency on this knows that Chauncey's life in the public eye, in this case, is a wrap. He's got to go into hiding. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just what it is. Or he's just got to, keep his mouth shut and then do his time.
Well, the FBI guaranteed Whitey Bulger in solitary confinement. You'll be safe. They murdered him. I mean, you can't trust the FBI.
This is going to be.
What to do, but one thing I was right about: the mafia doesn't care what color you are. All they care about is one color, green. See?
Yeah, I think you've been proven right on that one. Thank you, boss. I appreciate it.
Bottom line.
Thank you, man. Thanks for holding on. Like I said, I just figured I'd go with Frankie on this one. I'm just saying. But he's right. It's like, you can't, like, I don't understand this. In my heart of hearts, I don't understand this. I just don't. And that Stephen A. Smith comment, it's like, what is that for? That doesn't help Chauncy in any way, trying to put this on President Trump. There's photographs in the New York Post today from 2019 of Chauncy at a poker game. I mean, the problem with the Stephen A. Smith thing is, and other conversations about it, guess what they won't be talking about? They won't be talking about any of these families. They won't be talking about any of the other guys who are considered the co-conspirators. There'll be no conversation about any of them. They will keep their mouths shut. They will. And then try to say that this whole thing is a product of the government. God, these people are just absolutely, I don't even know what to say. I don't. You want to talk about how horrible it is? Let me tell you how horrible it is. So the Democrats have a secret Nazi. Don't take my word. That's what they told us. they told us that nobody can have some time involvement in Nazism. You are a Nazi if you even dabbled in it. Now, you remember that we got criticized right here on this show because I said I don't care that a couple of nobodies were in some private chat room on Telegram making jokes about Nazism, making jokes about black people. You're not supposed to, you're supposed to immediately denounce those folks because they will be associated with you forever. And even after you denounce them, it isn't enough because they will rub your face in it all day. See? Nazi, 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 Nazi. Well, you know the rule at Reese on the Radio. You set the standard, you live by it.
According to a leaked Republican group chat in 2024, Ingrassi admitted, I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. Folks, there's no such thing as a Nazi streak. You got any Nazi in you, you a Nazi.
That's right. You got any Nazi in you, use a Nazi. Enter Graham Planter. There's a photograph of him right there at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. There he is, Graham Planter. Underneath that picture, of course, is the tattoo he has over his right chest, which he's now removed. And Graham Planter, who's this guy? Well, this is the guy running in Maine to try to take over Susan Collins' position, and he's a Democrat. And everybody is admitting this guy has got a checkered background outside of the 2007 tattoo with that symbol on it. With the, I guess it was supposed to be skull and crossbones, which is associated with the Nazis. It's associated with the Nazis because it is called a Totenkopf symbol, which is historically associated with Nazi SS units. Here's what, what's his name? Scott Jennings said on CNN about Mr. Planter. Here's Scott Jennings, CNN.
You've seen the online discourse around this candidacy. This guy is the favorite of the radical left base of the Democratic Party. They're standing by him, despite the fact he has a literal Nazi tattoo on his chest, and he's made abhorrent comments in some of these Reddit threads that he's been involved in. They are unwilling to walk away from it because they want the candidates who are the most radical and the most progressive, and they're willing to put up with Nazi symbolism and other terrible remarks because of it. This is their guy. I don't think they're going to walk away from him. Paul's right. The popular Mills, I guess is going to be in this primary. But look online this morning. Look at your friends this morning, Paul. Look what they're saying about this guy. They want the Democratic Party to stand next to him because they think he's the bigger fighter. He's the not establishment guy. And they're willing to overlook the Nazi stuff over it? I don't know.
Yes, they are willing to overlook the Nazi stuff. Let's go to the back of Scott Jennings' statement before we get to the beginning of his statements. Let's start with the people who are endorsing him. Prominent individuals who are endorsing Planter. Well, none other than Bernie Sanders. That's right. Absolutely. I support Graham and everything he's done. He can win. He should totally take over in Maine. Absolutely. I agree. I support him. I support everything about him. He is obviously the progressive that we need to win the Senate. And he will. And not just Bernie Sanders. Leaders we deserve also said it. College Democrats of America, Voters of Tomorrow, Gen Z for Change, the United Auto Workers, Maine State Nurses Association, and the International Federation of Professional and Technical Engineers, all of which are supporting Graham Planter. All supporting. But you may have heard that Scott Jennings said that he also has some problematic text and comments that he's made in Reddit. I'll read a few. He has dismissed concerns about military sexual assaults. We'll get to what he said in a minute in a CNN piece. He questioned, hold on, wait, this one's great. He questioned whether blacks at restaurants tip adequately. He criticized police officers and rural Americans. He's used homophobic slurs and has made jokes that were considered LGBTQ. And with all of that, even though Democrats denounce every bit of that, having a Nazi symbol, saying things about sexual assaults, thinking blacks don't tip, all of those things are abhorrent. But are they willing to say that he should drop out of the race? Well, that answer is quite obvious. Let's go to Sarah Jacobs, Democrat of California. What does she think about all of this? Oh, by the way, she's Jewish.
I am comfortable saying there should be no Nazis in the Democratic Party. The big tent is not that big. And I hope that my colleagues are comfortable saying that about the Republican Party as well.
Hold on, but you think he should leave the race?
Look, I don't know. The honest answer is I'm not in Maine.
What? What? She's a Jew. No Nazis should be in the Democrat Party. When asked whether or not she should drop it, I don't know. Well, which is it? And again, as I told you long time ago, long time ago, that they will never denounce anyone who is far left. They can't. That's the cultism, whether you like it or not. Is it Plattner? Thank you. Whatever. The bottom line is that they won't denounce him. They can't tell him to step out of the race. They are being held hostage by the progressive wing of the party. I am sick and tired of the Democrats telling us what to do. They can't. Here's more, Sarah.
Yeah, but I
wouldn't vote for him.
This is about whether or not this is a disqualifying set of facts. Because again, it's not just that. It's also this.
Oh, yeah. Abby Phillips is about to read the comment that he made in Reddit about the concerns or dismissing concerns about military sexual assaults. Here's the exact quote.
This is what he said about sexual assault. People should take some responsibility for themselves and not get so effed up that they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. That's just one small example.
No, I think what he said was horrific, and the idea that he even had something that could be remotely related to Nazism on his body for years, and claimed he didn't know what it was is horrific. Now, I also believe that people can grow and believe in second chances, and I look forward to hearing what he has to say to really atone and amend for this. And, I'm comfortable saying, we should not have Nazis in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but I'm willing to have him condone. That grace is never afforded any conservatives, much less those stupid kids inside that little that little chat room. That wasn't afforded anybody. People came out and apologized. People were fired. People resigned. They were given no grace. But this guy, maybe he'll redeem himself. But, like I said, you set the standard.
According to a leaked Republican group chat, in 2024, Ingrassi admitted, I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time. Folks, there's no such thing as a Nazi streak. You got any Nazi in you, you a Nazi.
That's right. And if you got any Nazi on you, use a Nazi. Again, that's the standard you set. That's the standard you have to live by. That's just the way it is. Sorry. That's just the way it is. Anyway, when we come back, top of the hour, we'll have some more news, more views as well. And we'll take your phone call, so stand by, stay on the line. Donald says, all this shows is that they're on both sides. Many of us with sense know that. That it's on both sides? That's what you're suggesting? You mean that people are people? That some people say things that are reprehensible? Yeah, we've always known that. Welcome to the club. You just figuring that out? You just get here? That's all right. Welcome to the party, pal. That's okay. And thank you, Big Leagues. I apologize. I don't know how I don't know how the heck I saw that. It is Plattner as well. He said that Reese, you do a good Bernie. Thank you. I work that. I do that, Bernie. Big League said it too. I try really, really hard to do the Bernie thing. But that's because I know a guy who sounds like him. I know, but I grew up with a guy who has that exact voice that I used to make fun of when I was a kid. When we come back, more news, more views. I got two stories to talk about Obamacare and a character in all of this you may have forgotten when we come back. Stand by for that. And food stamps. Tom Vilsack, the Secretary of Agriculture. I got to play this. Both of these are oldie but goodies when we return. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And now I feel like a complete heel because I'm over here looking at other stuff, and I totally forgot that I was supposed to have something on Hollywood News, and it was a story that I was looking at, and now I've seemed to have lost it. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. When we come back, we'll take your phone calls, so stand by for that. In fact, I only had a minute left anyway, so it would have been a complete waste to even do it. The promo is longer than the actual story would have been. So we'll come back. We'll play. We'll talk to you on the phones at 860-522-WTIC. Stand by for that. As I also said, I want to play this clip from Tom Vilsack. Many people remember it because yesterday we were talking about food stamps and food stamp recipients. And people saying that they're not going to go to work, they're not going to work 20 hours and all that other stuff. I found out that two of the clips that we played yesterday, they were actually back-to-back, that they were satirical. And people are saying it was like, because of those two clips, that means the rest of the clips, have no meaning now. So the other people who were saying they were going to rob the ShopRite, like now all of a sudden that's completely null and void because some people were at satirical. I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll take the L on the satirical ones, but the other ones, no one's claiming are fake. So we'll talk about that. But Tom Vilsack, you guys may have missed this because it was on MSNBC, and who the hell watches that? But this is interesting, what he said when asked about food stamp recipients in the United States back during the Obama administration. Let's get another check of weather and traffic with Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, now I'm upset. I was in the middle of talking to my wife, and then this darn screen timed out, and I got to fix it. Don't worry, I'll take care of it in a second. Stand by, and I promise I'll get to everybody's phone calls. So let's start with this thing. So yesterday we were playing some audio sound bites of people who were upset about the November deadline because of the government shutdown, saying that because of the government shutdown, people weren't going to get their EBT cards. And I was asking the question, look at all of these people who are dependent on the government. And the number appears to be growing and growing and growing and growing. And there was no stopping it. And then I'm watching, as I was preparing for my podcast at the time, I'm watching the stories come up. And I think it was Sean Hannity, who was probably the one person who was saying the most about the increase in food stamp recipients. And the number kept climbing. And mainstream media wasn't talking about it until they realized that Sean Hannity was getting some traction in talking about it. And said that is a concern. Why would the Obama administration be growing the number of people on food stamps? It didn't make sense. It didn't make good business sense. And it clearly didn't work as a prosperity measure for average Americans. If more people are on food stamps, it means more people are sinking into poverty, needing the federal program. So I'm watching MSNBC, and I was so glad that I caught it because I looked. It took me all day. My podcast used to be on at 8 o'clock at night, so it took me all day to find the clip. And boy, when I found it, I couldn't wait to play it for everyone. And when I played it, people went, yeah, why would they admit that? So I'm going to set it up this way. I don't know who the gentleman is who's asking the question, but this young man at MSNBC is asking Tom Vilsack of Agriculture, what is the Obama administration doing to alleviate the amount of people who are adding on to the number of people who are on food stamps? MSNBC is directing this as a concern. We see, as Sean Hannity did, a growing number of people going on food stamps. What's the administration doing to kind of quell that, to bring it down? What Tom Vilsack says should shock you.
Secretary, good morning.
That's weird. There you go.
Of agriculture, and a report was just released that the 1 in 7 Americans now are currently on food stamps. What strategies, what's being done right now and kind of being done going forward that you think is really addressing poverty and the poor within the country and bringing some alleviation to those kind of numbers?
Well, obviously, it's putting people to work, which is why we're going to propose some interesting things during the course of the forum this morning. Later this morning, we're going to have a press conference with myself and Secretary Mavis and Secretary Chu to announce something that's never happened in this country, which we think is exciting in terms of job growth. But I should point out that when you talk about the SNAP program or the food stamp program, you have to recognize that it's also an economic stimulus. Every dollar of SNAP benefits generates $1.84 in the economy in terms of economic activity. If people are able to buy a little more in the grocery store, then someone's got to stock it, shelve it, package it, process it, ship it. All of those are jobs. It's the most direct stimulus you can get into the economy during tough times.
So there was Tom Vilsack saying that, well, food stamps? Are you kidding me? We're making it more accessible in the 3 largest states, California, Texas, and Florida. We're growing the number of recipients. And because of that statement, people like Sean Hannity started sending people down to Florida, started sending people to Texas and to California. And they found out that what they were doing, they had teams of people, the White House did, teams of people who were walking around getting people on food stamps, growing the numbers. Now, again, this is the point that I was making years ago. And just recently on this program, I even wrote a Substack on it. You should check it out. Talking about how the Democrat Party has always been the Socialist Party because it's always working on getting more and more people on the dole. And now you reap what you sow. And Obamacare is no different. Because does anyone remember a guy by the name of Jonathan Gruber? I remember him. I remember him well. Remember, he was running around telling everybody that we had to lie about Obamacare. And because the American people were so stupid, they wouldn't understand the law.
This bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay? So it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay? Just like lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass. And, it's the second best argument. Look, I wish Mark was right. We can make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not. Till the second.
So that's what I said. That's what Jonathan Gruber said. I wish we could make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not. And I can definitely rely on the will or the stupidity of the American people. He was happy about that. When Ronan Farrow, you remember him, the Me Too guy, he used to have a show over on MSNBC. He got Gruber on the show and asked him about his statements about the stupidity of the American people. Here's what Gruber said about it.
Do you stand by the comments in that video? The comment in the video were made at an academic conference, speaking off the cuff.
Yeah, those statements I made was at an academic conference. I was speaking off the cuff until they found out he was saying it everywhere. Here's another instance.
Massachusetts hero arose, John Kerry. And John Kerry said, no, we're going to tax your health insurance. We're going to tax those evil insurance companies. We're going to impose a tax that if they sell health insurance that's too expensive, we're going to tax them. And conveniently, the tax rate will happen to be the marginal tax rate under the income tax code. So basically, it's the same thing. We just tax the insurance companies. They pass it on higher prices. That offsets the tax break we get. It ends up being the same thing. It's a very clever, basic exploitation of the lack of economic understanding of the American voter.
Yeah. And they all knew that. He's one of the architects. They all knew that. As I was expressing to you, again, a long time ago, all by design, all socialist, all the time. That's who these people are. That's who they are. So now they get to this point, and the programs that they're throwing $1.5 trillion at, Well, people are sitting up there going, what, are you people serious? And sure enough, they go out there and they lie, relying on the stupidity of the American people, especially those on the left. Sorry, folks, they're relying on the stupidity of you. They are. Conservatives, Republicans, or people who are against this nonsense about the growing of people on food stamps or the growing of people on Obamacare, we already knew that it was a boondoggle. We were all aware. They couldn't rely on the stupidity of us. So who do you think they were relying on? You. You. While you were going to bed, screaming and hollering, stop calling it Obamacare. It's the Affordable Care Act. You were defending it to the hilt. Stop disrespecting him. He's a black man, and you just don't like his Affordable Care Plan because it is. There he is. Gruber telling him, we relied on the stupidity of the American people. You've been called stupid. I don't need to. I told you. We will always tell you. And you think it's because we're trying to one-up you or trying to own the libs. No. In the beginning, it was always about wake up. You're being taken advantage of. A stupid compassion thing that they'd always lead you by your nose with. Oh, it's important to everybody. And not understanding the bare minimum economics of all of this. That it was never going to work. And where are we now? Where are we now? 14, 15 years later, where are we now? We got to keep the subsidies. I thought you guys said that without this, we were all going to forget about it. People were going to die. And now guess what? Obamacare is a thing, and people are still going to die. You look, again, it isn't us. It's never been us. Today, people, and I'll throw an olive branch to conservatives, MAGA folks, and even libertarians on their behalf. I'll do this. And they don't need me, but I'll just say this. In the beginning, it was about a necessary concern to try to warn you. You don't know what you're cheerleading. Listen to us. We know what we're talking about. We're trying to explain it to you every day. People have called this network, and I know they did, tried to explain. People in the healthcare industry, people in the insurance industry. We're trying to warn people, but what did you do? You ignored them. And here we are. And all we wanted you to do was to pay attention to the people, again, who are supposed to be on your side, calling you stupid, relying on your stupidity. Gruber is not a conservative. Gruber is not MAGA. Gruber's your guy. And Gruber wanted that bill passed, as did many others, no matter what, and they were willing to lie for it. One guy, Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, who everybody knows the reason why he literally dragged the ACA over the finish line was for one reason. It was the dumbest reason ever. You don't want to be the Supreme Court that denied the signature legislation of the first black president. The rest of the country be damned. And everybody knows it. And everybody was duped by it. Everybody was forced into agreeing with and doing with and cheerleading something that was going to end up creating a bigger socialist safety net for the sake of what? How? Feeling better? How do you feel now? How many of you right now? And look at the people who are out in the street protesting. Look at the people. A perfect example. Look at John Hodgkinson, who lost his life. What was it, 2017? Trying to murder Republicans because of what? Because of health care. Because he fell for the banana in the tailpipe. That man left his wife, traveled from what, Ohio, Illinois, wherever he was in the Midwest, all the way to Virginia to stake out a baseball field. For what? Obamacare. Trying to kill people and lost his own life in a gun battle. How many other people? Before it used to be, look, we just want to warn you. Today, people are like, hey, we told you you were stupid. Today, they don't care. They have no empathy for that. And the worst part is that if you're still standing around trying to defend this, to defend Obamacare? I'd still defend it. There's no helping you. There is no helping you. At this point, it's willfully ignorant. And there's nothing else left. Because, again, you don't have to defend it anymore. You don't. Obama's not the president anymore. He won't be president again. If you want to defend anything when it comes to Barack Obama, will you please help him fix that ugly-ass building in Chicago? Like, give that guy a clue. Whatever that is. It looks like a big, giant rock. It's cost overrun. Did he really hire DEI and women to build that thing? And it's over budget? And past schedule? Are you serious? If you want to defend anything, defend that. Go help him out there. Any of you. By the way, if you ask the folks of Chicago, do they hate that thing? God, do they hate that building? People are so done with defending Barack Obama. And perhaps the Democrats should do the same. Just forget about Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. It appears that Republicans have a replacement or some sort of plan that they're ready to negotiate. Mike Johnson was talking about it on CNN. I hope he does not leak that plan. Don't even give them an edge on whatever plan they have. Make them wait this out. That's all I want to say. I want to see them go one step further on all of this. It's going to be interesting. So, speaking of, was that, you know what? I want to play that. You know what? I'll play that during the next break. Speaking of mind-numb robots, that young kid, Nick Shirley, this video is absolutely insane. When we come back, I'm going to play it real quick. Talk about being led like in a cult. You are not going to believe this audio. Stand by. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. I think who's it? John Ferrick is in with weather. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
Yeah, so, of course, we're talking about the NBA scandal. Of course, that involves organized crime, basketball, and poker games. And lastly, I just mentioned that there was a story that I thought that some people should have paid attention to. I thought it was weird as far as the accusation of cultism within the left. This is interesting only because it shows that a lot of people are going to say, well, it's his girlfriend. That may be true. This guy, Nick Shirley, who's been on shows like Jesse Waters, he's a independent reporter. He's recently been covering the stuff going on in Canal Street in New York with the Africans who were just picked up selling counterfeit goods. Anyway, during the whole argument about illegals in the country, he went up to a young man to ask him about his point of view on people who are in the country illegally and whether or not they should be deported. Well, he seemed to have strong feelings about it until.
Do you support the deportation of illegal immigrants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. She's saying she doesn't.
If they're illegal, then yeah.
Do you not support the deportation of illegal migrants? And why not? He does and you don't.
It's not illegal.
Okay. If someone crossed over the border illegally, should they be deported?
I'm not too sure about that.
Now, again, a lot of people can say the obvious, right? He seemed to have strong feelings about it. If they're in the country illegally, they should be deported. The girlfriend turns around and says, no, they're not illegal. So he doesn't says, so your girlfriend says otherwise. What do you say? The guy just stands there dead silent and goes, I'm going to have to think about that. Now, I know that you're probably saying, you don't want to take off your girlfriend. Whatever your girlfriend says, you're going to go with that. But come on. Come on. Are you under the impression your girlfriend's going to break up with you because you don't see it the same way? I thought that was a little odd. I don't really think so. I don't know. Let's get another check on the traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay, last time I will repeat it. Tomorrow's show, not online. You will not be able to watch the show online because we'll be packing up most of the gear here, getting it all boxed up and ready to go. So we will definitely just be, of course, on WTIC.com. So you'll be able to listen there. And, of course, at 1080 a.m. to listen to the program. So just letting everybody know, as far as the, our usual folks who are online or in the chat rooms will be closed tomorrow and Monday until we get back into the studio on Tuesday. So we'll still hear tomorrow. So just stand by for that. And just wish us safe travels, okay? And I can't wait to get up there. Can I tell you, Roland, I have no idea why I'm apprehensive. I have no idea. I guess because I'm moving somewhere new. I think that's the part that's getting me.
It ain't new for you.
Yeah, but not. Yeah, I guess not. But I think there's a degree of being comfortable, which I normally don't do. So now I'm going to be in Connecticut, for the first time living there in 20 years, and I should be feeling like I'm coming home to where it all began. And there's another part of me is just it's like I'm going to be there. I'm going to be engaging and physical. I should stop beating my own brain up and just be gung ho. You guys are excited. I'm excited. Maybe that's what it is. I'm excited and I'm confusing it. That may be the thing that I'm going through. Anyway. Let's go to the phones and get those out of here so that we can end the show. Let's go to Jeff. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing fine, Reese. How are you today?
I'm all right. What's up?
I'm calling about, I didn't want to break your rhythm. You were on a good roll there, but I wanted to call really quick about the nipper bottles.
Yeah,
that's the nipper bottles. The state legislator, there's been rumors of them drinking and stuff like that, and the legislator in the parking garage, and I think it's just easier for them. So, why not? Why not just throw them out the window?
Hey, considering some of the legislation that's gone through that body, that sounds appropriate. Maybe they were drinking.
I think that's the answer.
All right. Yeah. Such a legitimate point, if you really think about it. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's go to Dave in Bristol. Hello, sir.
Mr. Reese, how are you?
I'm all right. What's up?
All right. Geez, you just talk so much. I got so many things I want to talk to you about. But
okay.
Originally, I wanted to talk about the nipper thing.
Okay.
It's, number one, they're not concerned about recycling them.
Okay.
They're concerned about charging us an extra fee to drink them.
Well, I would imagine the reason why they implemented this 5% tax or 5-cent tax was because of the numbers that I read. To see the fact that there are 680,000 being purchased in just one town alone, I'm under the impression that these nips are overwhelmingly popular. For whatever reason they may be, we're talking about just one town getting a considerable amount of tax revenue from it in a matter of 6 months.
I got you. So why didn't they make them redeemable and have them recycled?
I, again, don't know. And it begs the question.
No, they're charging apple juice bottles
right.
for redeemables.
Yeah.
This was just simply an extra tax on top of everything else.
But you put an extra tax on this, Dave, because they're overwhelmingly popular, especially if you know that
because you can buy 5 or 6 of them, 8 of them, and it's cheaper than buying the half pint, the pint, whatever.
Yeah.
I know this. I do distributing to package stores and stuff. You can actually buy a sleeve of nippers, and it costs you less than buying a one bottle.
When you say a sleeve, and forgive my naivete, a sleeve, are you saying that these things come like in a row, like a sort of a detachable row?
You could buy one. I think a sleeve has got like 8 nippers in it.
Okay.
Maybe it's 10.
Okay.
But if you buy that, as opposed to buying a pint or a half pint, it costs you less.
Interesting. Josiah says a sleeve is 10. There are 10 in them. Maybe I have to look up exactly what it looks like, because again, it's not like I've never frequented a liquor store before. I'm a beer guy. So it's like, I don't think I've ever seen people are saying sleeve to me, and it sounds like you might as well be speaking Swahili. I'd have never heard of a sleeve. I know that I've seen them sitting up at the counter, like sort of like as an impulse buy, sitting at the counter at the cash register, but I've never even heard of the sleeve.
It's like a sleeve of golf balls. So you get 8 or 10 of them, whatever it is.
Wow.
That's, it actually costs less than buying the half pint.
Yeah.
So it's not just, people trying to regulate their drinking. I mean, as a nipper guy myself, I come home at night, I drink 1 nip, 1 beer. That's good. And it is self-regulating.
Yeah, it's self-regulating and it's cost-effective as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm learning. Thank you, sir.
Well, I think it's just like the state's trying to. They're scamming money. Where's this money going?
Well, look. This is, as far as tax revenue is concerned, somebody figured out how many of these things are being purchased and then found a way to make some revenue off of it, and it's working. And when you see a number like 680,000 in Middletown, you got to ask yourself, because now, I'll be honest with you, now the question is, how many are being sold in New Haven? Like how many now are in? I could only imagine. But I'm in my head. I'm sitting up going, now I got to see the numbers for each town. And how do you not?
All right. One more quick thing.
Yes.
Before they put the 5-cent tax on it, there were less nippers.
Yes. So, you know what? You're 100% right. You are 100% right.
I know the people that do the nippers, like I said, they work with package stores and stuff. As soon as they put the extra 5-cent charge on, and they said it was for okay, we're going to clean up the nippers.
Yeah.
Everybody that's doing the nippers is like, fuck it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got to cut him off. I'm sorry about that, folks. Let's go to Dave in Brantford. Hello, Dave.
Well, Reese, how are you? A topic you lit the fuse on 2 days ago was that hanging Halloween scene.
Yes.
That you got on the NAACP's case. And something I heard pretty clever. If you want to hear yesterday's news tomorrow.
That's yesterday's news tomorrow. That's fine. What do you got?
So after you had discussed it, I noticed a day later, I saw the image on the TV news, which was very good, because I got a first-hand gander of what you were talking about.
Okay.
And I saw zero racial insensitivity, in the pictures and the depictions of what that guy had put on his lawn.
Exactly.
And today's Hartford Courant, they had a pretty detailed story.
Saw it.
About, the original letter, and the mayor of the town actually went out and inspected it. And the awful thing is, the amount of municipal energy, and no doubt she consulted the lawyer in the town to say, is there something we can do to force it? All the Sturm and Drang from, I think that's from a Robert Frost line, the commotion that this caused on a totally pointless thing, It's
sure.
When the kids would put a carrot in a snowman.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that became a municipal event?
Right.
To say, you put the carrot in the wrong place. We got to get rid of that. And so I appreciate a story that really only you could bring it up and not seem, and you, as a racist, you could get away with that story. and if I brought it up, I couldn't. So it's 2 days later, and I've watched the evolution of this drama, which seems absolutely pointless. And that's my slap. This is what the NAACP, this is how they choose to spend their time. What a waste of energy.
Exactly. In a town, again, and you're right over the target on this one, Dave. That is, in a town that is that close to New Haven, with the amount of murder and mayhem happening within that town, this was their focus. We haven't heard from them in years, the New Haven chapter of the NAACP. And this is the issue they wish to pop their head out of their hole for.
Thanks for opening my eyes and all the rest of us. I'm done.
Not a problem, sir. Thank you. Let's go to, Josiah's been trying to get in for the longest. Josiah, I'm getting every message you're sending me. I hope you know that.
Hey there. How's it going?
What's going on, sir?
Not much. So, yeah, the drinking in the legislature in relation to Nips, actually, it's a myth that's been eliminated in the Connecticut legislature because I was just there at the end of the last session, and they hold open parties with no ID, nothing, for everyone to come get whatever drinks they want and go return back to voting. And in relation to that, I had an issue with my senator being visibly drunk on the floor, so drunk she could not stand.
Wow.
And I talked to my first selectman, what should I do? What's the issue? And you know who my first selectman is, based on the town I live in. And I woke up to a voicemail threatening litigation from that senator instead of help.
For just asking the question about... Wait. You got the threat of litigation for asking privately about a public intoxication of your elected official.
Yes, sir. Causing my bill that I was lobbying for to die in legislature because time ran out of midnight.
What? Well,
yep, welcome to Connecticut.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I got to. No, I'm ready. Maybe that's part of my apprehension, my friend. Josiah, I will talk to you soon. I promise, sir. I promise I'll get to you. Let me get to Dave in Bristol. Hello, Dave.
Reese, I was just talking to you, and
yes, I know, but that's okay. I appreciate the apology. Let me get.
I must apologize.
It's okay. Apology, sir. We caught it. No problem. I appreciate you. I know you didn't do it on purpose, buddy. Thank you. Let me go to Tom and Thomason before we get up out of here. How are you, sir?
Hey, I think Dave meant to say chuck it, not the word he said. So we'll give him a pause on that one. Hey, Reese, two things quick. On the way up, you got to hit the Skyline Drive through the Shenandoah National Park.
Okay.
In West Virginia. Have you ever driven it? It's a great drive.
Actually, in West Virginia, believe it or not, I spent a lot of time in West Virginia. When I first worked for U-Haul, my training route was the 81 corridor in Virginia, all the way up through. It started in not Pleasantview. Gosh, why am I forgetting the name of the darn town? I want to say it was Newington or Newtown, something like that it was called. But all the way by Luray Caverns, all the way up the 81 corridor to what's called Falling Waters, West Virginia, on the 81 corridor, all through that. So I went to Martinsburg, was one of the towns that I spent a lot of time in. So I haven't been to Shenandoah. Everybody, when I was living in Virginia, would always come through. Everybody I knew from Boston would send me pictures. Hey, I'm in Shenandoah. I'm like, hey, why don't you come by? It's like, I'm in Shenandoah. I'm not coming all the way to see you. So it's pretty far. I never really get out there. But yes, I know it's beautiful. That much I know.
Yeah. Take the Skyline Drive on the way up. Yes, great.
It is beautiful.
Then, hey, it's funny how the NAACP didn't mention that the greatest mass lynching was done to Italians.
That's right.
In this country. So, not everything is a racist trope.
And this wasn't either. Again, we're talking about a haunted house and a display that I saw plenty of articles that was celebrating these folks for the enjoyment that kids get from this sort of display. And for them to, again, this is a relationship that the town has with these folks that you would think was, sincere and honest and bonding. And to see the mayor come out and throw their weight on this with the help of the NAACP to have these people feel like, where's this coming from? You know who we are. You celebrate us. The news media has talked about us. You guys come down and cover us every Halloween. Now you guys are turning your back on us. And for what? It's baffling, mind-numbingly baffling. But
it's another example of Trump derangement syndrome.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Couldn't agree more, sir. Thank you so much, Tom. Let me get up out of here, folks. Like I said, tomorrow we are doing just audio, just WTIC.com, and, of course, 1080. So I'm just going to say farewell or goodbye for now, but we will be back on Tuesday. So you folks can still join us online. I've got to get all of this equipment the heck up out of here, so I'll be packing up a lot of it tonight and, of course, tomorrow, and then we are on the road. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. 1 day left in Texas, and then I join you, so stand by. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Good night, Reese. From the Lone Star State to the Constitution State.
Yep.
The big man is coming north. Hey, if you're heading southbound 91, you got delays in Hartford 33.
All right, good sir.
All right.
22 on the Route 9 interchange. Again, a little tight traffic down.
Yes, sir.
All the work in the world.
If you're westbound 84,
I already know I'm wrapping it up this weekend. I'm done after this weekend.
about a half mile before.
Done with the old house anyway. Then I gotta unpack
Unload.
boxes and all that crap.
Good
at
luck
the
to you.
County Bridge, 84 westbound.
All right, mañana.
30.
See you tomorrow.
In Plainville in the 72 interchange, westbound 84.
What are you giving me crap about, Roseanne? Well, I got a lot of work to do in my own office. That's all I'm talking about. Yes, you've been doing all of it. I absolutely understand, and I will make good on it. Okay?
All right. Can you help me fold the laundry?
Yes.
And then while you're in here doing this, I'm going to clean the car.
Well, what's name's just texted me, and he's ready to. We got to check the lighting.
All right. Well, y'all go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go do that. All right, folks, we got to get up out of here. I love you, folks. It's okay. You know, you're on here. Nobody heard you. You didn't say anything wrong. All right, I love you guys. Thank you. We'll be back here tomorrow. Thank you, Michael A., as always, and thank all of you guys for your help on the show. Is that said fundamentalist? That's a new name I haven't seen. Let me give him some props. That's some promo stuff. Josiah. Okay, that was Josiah who called earlier. All right, so that's everybody. Carmela, thank you as well. Who's covering Monday? I'm not sure. I think I know, but I may have forgotten who it is who's covering. But I will let you know tomorrow, Carmela, who's going to cover on Monday. I wish they just do the best of, but, they got to do something. All right. Again, I love you guys. Be good to each other. See you mañana. Or, well, you'll hear you mañana. Bye.